Welcome. This is David Boles, Human Meme. Today's topic: writing is not a collaborative process. Well, there's just no way around it. To write, you have to be alone. Now, some try to argue that writing can be a collaborative process, but it is not and cannot really, in its essence, ever be that. Even in a dedicated writing team, you write alone. Then, maybe you get together to share and fix and edit, and then you go back to writing alone. Writing requires the locking of a door, and the hunkering down of intention, and of the going inside the self for hours, days, years, a lifetime, all in the blind hope that something, anything, will rise higher than the foam against a raft adrift at sea. In previous Human Meme podcasts, we've discussed why writers' groups and workshops and some overall collaborations in general do not help the writer's mission to preserve the truth of the human condition. Go to humanmeme.com and do a search for How to Write a Novel, and also Life of Curation, and finally, The Salinger Effect. And you'll learn more. Today, in this episode of Human Meme, we will expand on those previous podcasts, because some listeners, over time, are sort of appalled by my arguments, and others want a deeper understanding, which usually translates into meaning, say it a different way. And so I shall. If someone asks you to write something with them, that means you will be doing all of the work. And it's a basic matter of human nature that some people want the most credit and the least amount of work in order to propagate the vision of their seed or egg into the free world via the sweat of your brow and the muscle in your back. And so it is your duty to yourself and to your craft to politely decline any and all attempts to suck you into a dyad in which you will never truly be 50-50. Every collaboration is 90-10, while the split may always be 50-50. You need to know your work ethic and your numbers, and you need to understand the work involved. Know all the fractions included in your dyad, and never agree to something that is untenable in the first place, like writing something together. Now, writing together can have several meanings, and I'm talking about writing one thing together, like a script or a book or lyrics. Overall speaking, a truly collaborative experience can be had, as long as everyone is collaborating equally in the expertise of their own field. Like, say, you are writing the lyrics and someone else is writing the music. You are writing a screenplay and someone else is doing the editing. Now that's collaboration. That is vision sharing. That is meet-cuting. And yes, you can do all those inventive things yourself. But don't split the baby just to get a deal done or to win a little bit of money, because none of that will ever be worth it in the end, because it may not end well, not even in a contractually negotiated teardown of an ironclad collaboration agreement. Any contract can and will be changed by force of will or law of man, or the force of a virtual or real gun pointed directly at your head, along with an ultimatum. Know this. The question of changes and revisions is always intended to persuade and to dismay, unless one collaborator does the first draft and the other repurposes edits and such. If there are not hard, fine lines drawn between responsibilities, all of it will dissolve in memorialized writing and practiced editorial. All conflicts of time and intention. All of it inevitable. Now, sometimes carving up the baby into little pieces, instead of splitting the baby in two, can be a better salve in a forced collaboration. And yes, sometimes you are forced by circumstance or economics to collaborate against your better will. So compartmentalizing zones of specialty and responsibility will help make the process move forward more smoothly. Now, what happens when there is a conflict about plot, character, or dialogue? Who wins? Who decides? Writers must never agree to let a third party, a producer or a director, make any conflict decisions, because those people are not as wholly trained or as deeply invested as the authors are in the creation process. Decide with your collaborator before the conflict presents itself how you will resolve a problem. And sometimes making the decision to take turns deciding who solves what, which, when, can be a great motivator for always helping you move forward. A deal is a deal, right? Not so fast. Sure, you have a contract, but that doesn't mean other people won't try to terrorize you into changing your writing split. Maybe you are lucky enough to be sharing a 50-50 royalty. And maybe later on your collaborator will try to grab a larger share. And you won't go along with the change. Unless, of course, your writing collaboration is a hit. Then the author with the most power, the most muscle, will try to go back in time and rewrite a deal to get a better royalty in the end. And if you refuse to redo a deal, you don't want to work again with that person, and you will be badmouthed for taking advantage after the fact. And if you go along with the scheme, you will have lost money and your annuity and any sense of self-esteem that keeps you alive. Tough choice? Not really. Keep what you have. Honor the original covenant. And if you're the muscle, don't be uncouth and don't go back in time and don't claw back what you never agreed to earn. Resentment never makes a good writing partner. And beware of success. Hey, there's no guarantee you'll ever find a hit again, but there is a 100% guarantee that you will fail again and again, and you will fail and fail and fail, much more often than you will touch the golden third rail of success. A shining success pretty much guarantees the powers that control the money and access and the projects will require you to collaborate again, and that may not always be a good thing. Remember, contracts are intended to be a one and done. Don't give anyone a free look at your next big thing. Don't commit to more than one of something. A multiple deal, a package deal, must be to your total benefit. and it must pay you a lot of guaranteed, non-refundable money if you are commanded to be wholly wrapped up. As well, be aware that resentments and hurt feelings are funny things. They prevent success more than they build a bridge to the golden dawn. So you'll always have to be wary and aware of what's happening around you. And not just who hates what and what loves you and who loathes you, but you need to also know why. And you also must be able to sensate all those tricksy avenues of application that can bind you or set you free. Make the active choice. And sure, some collaborative teams in history have found great success. But please, also know the majority of them were all willfully unequal in some horrendous way. One person had power, the other talent. Or some collaborators were not quite the right race or gender, and the power exchange was negotiated downward from there. There's no such thing as equality or 50-50 or shared credit when it comes to collaboration. Someone will always need to be credited above the other. And there sits the sad and lonely ideal that not all collaborators are created with equanimity. Thank you for listening. Be a human meme.